My first work trip ends up in potentially the best intimacy of my life. MF, no regrets. I feel compelled to share this story, or perhaps just put it into words, because it remains one of the wildest experiences in my life, and it still doesn't quite feel real. Also been a reader of this sub for a while and fun to contribute. It all unfolded last week when I embarked on a work trip for a new job I'd landed over the summer. Things were looking up, given that my post-college journey had led me down the path of public accounting, a profession that had drained my soul to the point where I quit during busy seasons. Suddenly, I found myself jobless, but luckily I stumbled into an incredible opportunity in the nonprofit sector. A couple months in, I got the opportunity to San Diego to meet and integrate with our West Coast team. Now, a bit of background about me: I'm your run-of-the-mill, average guy just turned 25. From college through my first job, I focused on academics and career advancement, neglecting any meaningful attempts at dating. Sure, there were a few fleeting flings here and there, but nothing substantial. In the interim between jobs, I had a lot of time on my hands, which I dedicated to hitting the gym. The results finally began to show in late summer, and I started feeling more confident. The trip was proceeding smoothly, and I found myself in a swanky hotel on a Friday night, contemplating a visit to the hotel bar for a drink while scanning for any sports games on TV. The bar was relatively empty, but then, as if by some stroke of fate, I couldn't help but notice an exceptionally attractive woman seated alone. She was exactly my type, a bit reminiscent of Zooey Deschanel, dressed impeccably, and undeniably cute. I think every guy has this experience when they see a girl like this. It's hard to keep your eyes off her. Normally, I'm not the type to initiate conversations with strangers, especially someone as captivating as her, so I carried on with my routine. I ordered a drink, fiddled with my phone, and tried to pretend she wasn't there. But to my absolute surprise, a voice behind me, inquiring about my reason for being in town. I glanced up, and there she was. I was utterly taken aback, struggling to find words as I stammered through an explanation of my purpose in San Diego, and that's how our conversation began. Not sure why she continued it. The first 5 minutes are a blur in my memory, except for one vivid detail: her emerald green eyes. Surprisingly, our conversation flowed effortlessly, and her infectious smile was absolutely charming. It felt like a dream come true, almost too good to be real. Well, reality hit like a ton of bricks when she dropped the bombshell, saying, "My husband is really into that too." My heart sank as I glanced down, and there it was, a sizable diamond ring gracing her effinger. To be honest, my initial disappointment quickly gave way to gratitude for the simple pleasure of having someone to share a conversation with versus just eating alone in a hotel room. I had regarded the whole encounter as a bit of a pipe dream to begin with, so we kept on chatting, and my comfort level was way higher knowing there was really no chance anyway. I learned she was 31 and also on a work trip, her shun for hiking mirroring my own. As the night grew later, and the reality of an early morning flight loomed, I was taken aback when she suggested we exchange contact information to stay in touch. It felt a bit unusual, but maybe friends? She entered her number into my phone. Once back in my hotel room, I sent her a text: "Hey, it's Jason. I hope you have a safe flight tomorrow. It was truly a pleasure meeting you." 10 minutes later. "Wanna come cuddle?" With her room number. I am floored. I thought she was married. At this point though, the alcohol got the better of me and I just want to be near her again. I go straight to her room, heart pounding in my chest, and knock. She opens the door and immediately kisses me. It feels so good and her lips feel amazing. We kiss against her hotel door as I start feeling her and leading her back to her bed. We make out on her bed for a very long time. Usually I feel like you want to get past that point, but this time I was fine with that going as long as it could. She tasted amazing and was such a good kisser. I start undoing her clothing and she stops me and she says, "Cuddle, remember? Okay, cuddle like this?" And I start kissing her neck as she's moaning. She slides her hands under my shirt. I feel her start to pull it off. "I thought cuddling?" I ask her. "Still cuddling," she responds. I pull her sweater off, only fair. I quickly undo her BR. Holy cow, her breasts are effing amazing. Maybe C-cup and so perky and firm. I start kissing them each as she moans and holds her hands in my hair. I slide my hands down to her legs, feeling up and down them. "Let's just keep making out," she says. I'm totally fine with that and I start kissing her. Now I have my hands on her bare breasts and her back. I'm losing my mind, she's so SI. I press against her and hold her neck while kissing. We both simultaneously realize we are making out, her with a black pencil skirt, nylons and heels but nothing above, and me with jeans on. I ask her, wouldn't it be more comfortable to cuddle without all this? She agrees and smiles. She takes off my jeans. As she is doing it I come to my senses and see her ring. Awkwardly I ask her, "Aren't you married?" She responds, "Yes, but open marriage." Okay, I guess, and we keep going. I am way too attorney to stop. It's now so obvious I'm hard in my boxer shorts. She takes off her skirt and heels and his nylons. Holy poop, it's unbelievable how SI she looks. I can see her thong and beautiful legs though the nylons, and that along with her bare chest is heavenly. We are all over other again making out. I feel her hand slide down my stomach and start feeling my insanely hard pee-pee as her tongue slides in my mouth. I'm almost bursting at this point. I don't think I've felt my pee-pee this hard. I can feel it pulsing. She tugs me and grabs me. I am literally trying not to see slowing down our kisses. I feel her hand wrap around and tug at the weight and down my leg as she takes off my boxers. She pushed me onto my back and got in between my legs. She's going to do it, I keep thinking. She takes it into her hand and bends down and licks the entire way up from my balls to tip and then smiles at me. Seeing my pee-pee in her hand, I noticed her diamond ring so obviously sparkling while touching my pee-pee. It gives me a little rush of having some type of forbidden fruit. I wonder if her husband knows where she is. She takes me into her mouth and starts giving me the best BLWJB of my life. Coincidentally the shortest. Her mouth feels absolutely amazing and all the teasing makes me not able to hold it back any longer. I tap on her shoulder and start saying I'm going to see M. She pushes down and holds me in her mouth as I explode. I keep grabbing her shoulder because this feels like the biggest orgasm of my life that won't end. One of the hottest things I remember is actually seeing her trying to swallow all of me. She can't hold her mouth any longer and CM goes everywhere as she lifts off me and it's still coming out all over her hand and some of her lips. I start immediately apologizing but she is giggling and looks back up at me. Still so insanely hot and cute, lipstick smeared and her makeup a little messed up, CM on her lips. Looking back up to me she says, "What the F was that, holy poop, where did that come from?" I was like, "That was all you." We both started laughing. She gets up to get cleaned up. "Bring me a glass of water." I should have been the one doing this, by the way. She cuddles up to me again. I start rubbing her back wanting to return the favor. We talked a little about how crazy that was and how hard I came as my hands explored her. I start moving down her flat stomach kissing and she stops me again. She covers her mouth and says sheepishly, "I haven't shaved in a while. I wasn't expecting this. I literally don't care at all and keep ensuring she's beautiful. If anything I want to see it even more now." I slowly pull down her nylons and kiss the side of her legs, making my way up to her peenties. I spend time kissing the outside of them, noticing how damp they are, and kiss the outside of them, feeling her heat. I just savor the moment. She smells so good. I slowly hook around her thong. She raises up a little, giving me room to pull them down. I see the hottest black bush poking out and TBH don't think I can ever say I prefer hairless now. Hers look divine. I immediately go at it, licking her, tasting her. She reminds me slow and she spread her legs on the bed. I try to find what feels good for her by listening to her breathing and moaning. Finally finding a rhythm. Her thighs squeeze tighter around my head. I'm taking that as a good sign as I keep going. I start to hear her pant and moan and, reading stories on here helped, resist the urge to go harder. I feel her start to shake and she's saying FF. She starts to see M all over my tongue. Hearing her and feeling her makes me insanely hard again and she notices. She pulls me up to her face and wraps her legs around me. I'm immediately lined up perfectly with her and we start kissing again as I'm rubbing right on the outside of her entrance. I can feel her breathing against my ear. She whispers, "Please." That's all I need as I slide into her. I can feel her legs tighten as she pulls me closer in. She bites my earlobe as I go as far as I can so I can feel all over her. I start moving slowly this time. I feel like I have a bit more stamina. We start making out again as we F slowly. I have never had this intimate of intimacy. We look into each other's eyes and then would kiss again as I pushed in, not even thinking about a CNDM. We start going a little bit faster. She puts her hands on my SS and pulls me in. I start really going and she moans in the hottest ways, letting me know how good it feels. Her wimp feels so good each thrust. I find myself kissing her neck and ear and listening to her, which also distracts me enough to not see M immediately. She stops me. What I'm thinking, I want to keep going. She says I want it like this. She pulls under me, flips over and gets on all fours and sticks her SS up. I don't need to be told twice and she used her hand under her legs to guide me in. I place my hands on her sides and slowly push into her. Harder now. I can hear ourselves, her moans and our skin clapping together. Worrying someone might actually hear us from another room. Somehow the most intimate intimacy I've ever had turns into the most animalistic. She's moaning and I'm grunting and we are going at it pretty hard. I start getting sweaty and running my hands up her sides and squeezing her perfect SS. At the same time puts her head into the bed and pushed back into me. The view is absolutely incredible. I put both my hands on her cheeks and pull them apart, grabbing her. I can't help but stare and she has the cutest slightly hairy SS. I can't take it anymore and I can feel myself losing it. I tell her I'm going to see M. She says it's fine, keep going, CM baby. That sends me over the edge and few more thrusts. I grab her sides, pull her as deep as I can and CM inside her. I collapse on top of her, prone, bone breathing hard. Best intimacy I've ever had. I dumbly thank her. She says you're welcome. We stay like that for a while. And then get up to start cleaning up. We talk a little. Unfortunately it's a bit awkward. I kind of get the cue and say, "Well, don't you have an early flight?" And she says, "Yeah, I do." I tell her to get some sleep and we hug. She holds me hard and then kisses me again and says she had fun. I go back to my room in complete shock that this just happened. I lay there and immediately feel the need to start texting her. I texted her that I had a very good time and something dumb about wanting to hike with her. Nothing for the next 10 hours. She finally responds the next night and says she had fun too and she would love to hike with me. Maybe I'm just naive and dumb, but I feel like this just doesn't happen like we had it and I want to text her all the time and actually miss her even though I knew her for like 7 hours. I feel like I'm bothering her though. We have been texting a little bit but it seems slightly awkward, which is unfortunate because it was so easy when it was in person. Kind of a bittersweet ending, at least to this point, of a perfect first work trip. Upvote 184, downvote 6 comments.